Mm.
You can't just throw money at an attacking problem and hope it goes away. He's got to coach that attack, have a style of attacking play, of attacking threat that works consistently. If he doesn't do that, I think Chelsea will drop off in the title race. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. So Anthony's still out on hiatus, out in the boonies, looking after his illegitimate Eskimo family. So so until Anthony gets back from being a breadwinner for someone out in the boonies, we're going to have to continue on, and we've got a little content for you today where we're going to be talking about the games from
Last night slash this
last
morning.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
time's a little strange for us, but we were up to watch. Me and Matt, we kept an eye on the results, and then we're going to go over a couple tonight. So why don't we go straight from the top and start with Brentford versus Everton? So we were watching the Man City West Ham game
Yeah, that's
because that
correct.
was a one. But I'm just going to say I put Ivan Tony in my FPL team
Oh, mate.
like
No,
a
mate.
few
Come on.
days before, and he
Come
scored a
on. No,
penalty.
come on. Come on. No, come
I've
on.
done
No, come
well.
on.
I knew what I was
Oh,
doing.
no. Look, realistically, me and Jackson looked at the lineups when they got released an hour before the game, and we looked at the Everton lineup, and we looked at the Everton injuries as well, and we thought to ourselves, this isn't the best Everton team they've put out.
Mm,
I mean, Alan's still out injured. Damari Gray had a 75% chance of playing.
mhm.
They had Rondon starting.
Yep.
They're like Alex Iwobi was starting. Like,
Mm,
come on, the man missed a sitter goal about 3.5 weeks ago that
yeah.
anyone would have scored.
Yeah.
Like, the two best players on the field were Decore and Andros Townsend. If I'm
Yeah.
being
And
honest,
and Digne as well. Don't
yeah,
discount
didn't
him.
you?
But
Yeah, didn't
there's
you?
not even a spine there. It's like when Rafa came in and Andros Townsend and Damari Gray looked really good at the start. It was like, oh my god, incredible bargain signings. They're 14th in the league now.
Yeah, they are.
They've I don't know, I can't remember the last time they've won a game. They got thrashed by Watford, I remember.
Mm.
5-2, and it's just been average from there. And I mean, that lineup, yeah, we were talking about it. That lineup is so average. Like the back line, for me, the back line is really questionable. Even like with if you take Digne out of it, it's a really average back line.
It is. I
Uh
mean, you got Seamus Coleman and Michael Keane who have been there for quite a while, but other than that, like their experience is good for that back line, but it just doesn't provide the qualityness that they need to be in that top six or top eight.
no,
And
no.
just looking
Well,
back from what you were saying, Jackson. Sorry, I just went back to find out when they last won the last game they played. 26th of December, they won 2-0 against Norwich. And the week after that, they drew against Man United at Old Trafford. And ever since then, they haven't won a game.
which month was that?
October, the 2nd of
October.
October. The
All
2nd
right.
of October was the Man United draw, and the
Yep.
26th of September was the Norwich
Yeah.
win. And
And
other
and
than
you know,
that, they've lost their last 6 games.
it's the same at Brighton. I don't think they've won a game since September.
Yeah,
Uh
I'll fact check it while
yeah,
you're
I mean,
giving us a bit of
yeah,
description about it. But
I mean, like Brighton is just. I mean, Matt watched the highlights, and
oh man,
this isn't a main
man,
focus for us. But they
man,
threw away that game. They should have won that game. Morpay
look,
had many chances to put that game
yeah,
away.
look, Tarek Lamptey's doing well, providing
Yeah.
down that right side. I mean, ex Chelsea academy player, he's
Mhm.
doing well. And mate, some of those goals, man, they're sitters. They're sitters.
Mhm.
I was saying to Jackson, even half of my family could put those goals away. Like far out. It's a joke,
Yeah,
absolute joke.
but the difference being is Brighton were probably unlucky to have not won that game. Morpay probably on a different day would have put one of those chances away.
Mm.
Everton just don't look good. They don't even look like they get themselves in positions to threaten. Brentford, like to be fair, Brentford aren't in a good place right now. They've also sort of fallen off. I think ever since they beat West Ham 2-1,
Mm.
I think it's been a very average performance from Brentford. It's almost like they came out kicking, screaming, like a lot of energy, a lot of like
Yeah, but
positivity, and it's all sort of fallen apart a little bit.
that's what teams do when they come up from the championship, though. They come up, they have 3 or 4 good games at the start of the season, and they're like, oh, yeah, like they've had those good games, and then they start to find their place in the league after that.
Yeah.
Whether it be some teams like, I guess, Leeds last year, who had a subpar season, or you look at Sheffield United a couple of years ago when they had a really good season, and then they dropped off the year after and got relegated.
Like second season syndrome, we all know it, but this has been even quicker than that. It's only been
like
13 games this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Very early.
Just to bring up that fact as well, 19th of September, Brighton won 2-1 against Leicester. That's the last time they won in the Premier League.
Yep. There you go. A lot of teams have been doing really average and in the league. And these are teams that Everton are massively underperforming with these results, but Brighton's probably performing as expected. I think people got carried away suggesting that Brighton wouldn't be in a relegation battle, but I think they will be. I think the early good form took away from it. They haven't won a game in 2 months.
They haven't won a game in 2 months, but they're still in the top 10, though.
Yeah, but
look, that bottom of the table, you've got Newcastle, who, I mean, richest club in the Premier League now, probably going to go down this season. You got Norwich, you got Burnley, you got Leeds, and you got Watford now. They're all battling for that relegation zone, even Southampton. So,
Watford in 16th are only 5 points behind Brighton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not a big spread between from, I'd say, from 6th to 15th. There's only a 6 point spread between them.
Yeah.
Or if you go to 16th for Watford, there's which is 13 points, and whoever Wolves are in 6th, they're on 7 points. So it's a 20 points. So it's a 7 point spread between them. That's two games, 2 wins and a draw.
But it's very easy for, like, Norwich are picking up under Dean Smith. I think he will carry them to at least fight off relegation. Whether I think they'll survive is questionable, but they will try. And teams like Brighton, remember Southampton last season round, they had a brilliant first half of the season and then a dire second half of the season, relegation form second half, and they were deep in a relegation battle as a result.
Yeah, but they had Danny Ings basically carrying them last season. Now they don't.
Yeah, and now they don't have.
Now they don't have Danny Ings there. They've got Che Adams. Oh, come on. Che Adams and Adam Armstrong. They're not pulling you through past relegation. Those guys.
No, it's true.
The shining light from Southampton is Tino Livramento, another Chelsea player. Academy player.
Broja as well. I really like him.
Yeah,
another Chelsea fella. But no, and I mean, this leads us to another one of these sort of fighters. I mean, we mentioned Watford there, who looked also like Brentford, looked like Brighton, started decent. So Cisco Muniz got sacked because, I don't know, he must have looked at the owner's wife wrong. Like, I don't know what the call was there. But like Ranieri came in and they got that nice win against Everton, lost a couple games, but then beat Manchester United.
Yeah.
Those sort of wins are the ones that keep you up. But this was not the day. Leicester came into this game different. And I think a lot of the credit for the win for Leicester is on Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Leicester haven't been having a good season this year in terms of how they performed in recent years. But yeah, Jamie Vardy was a star for them yesterday. Scored 2 goals. James Maddison produced both assists for Jamie Vardy as well. Maddison also got on the score sheet himself, so Maddison had a cracking game. And Lookman managed to bag a goal as well for Leicester. Yeah.
I don't rate Lookman as a player. I remember him from his Fulham days, and I remember a fluffed penalty he did against West Ham that was almost comical. But in this game, Watford just didn't show up. It's because they didn't have Ben Foster in goals. That's why. They didn't have a YouTuber in goals.
The cycling goalkeeper, mate. Look, the Leicester team, they've been riddled with injuries this year. I mean, Fofana, Vestergaard. They had to play Johnny Evans at centre back. Tielemans as well. Look, I'd like to see Dacko get his chance in the front. I would like to see him get in, but like you were saying yesterday, Jackson, maybe around January when Vardy starts to get tired a bit, maybe Dacko might come in.
Yeah. I mean, if Vardy keeps up games like this, then you wouldn't want to take him out. But remember, this is the same Leicester team that Chelsea smashed 4-0.
Yeah,
just a little bit ago. Like, and it's a similar team. Like Johnny Evans should never be in that back line
No,
because when you
no.
think about it, that's just not good enough. It's like that's why they had Fofana and Vestergaard, but they're both injured. Although Vestergaard was on the bench for this game, so hopefully he's coming back into it.
Yeah.
It's just not the best Leicester team. So, good win for them, but I don't expect them now to pick up and build on this and put themselves back up. Like, there's no top four challenge this season for Leicester.
No, it's top 8 realistically for them. Like that, they're going to be battling for that 7th, 8th spot this year.
Yeah.
They're not going to be going for anything higher.
Oh, I think Europa League. It depends how good. If Conte and Arteta, if those sort of trains stall, if Arsenal and Tottenham stop picking up results, Leicester can squeeze into like a 5th or 6th, but that's the best they can hope for now.
I mean, Conte's come out and said he spent about 2.5, 3 weeks with the team already, and he's now just understanding the size of the problem at Tottenham, and it's a lot bigger than what he's expected. So,
I don't think why would he succeed where Mourinho failed? I don't know.
Look, it could be a different viewpoint, different coaching style. I mean, he could see something that we've been talking about Tottenham recently as well, is that they have no attacking prowess other than Heung-min Son. I mean, Harry Kane hasn't really been firing this season. Lucas Moura, he's inconsistent. He's here, there. Like some games he'll play well, sometimes he won't play well. And then the back line is just terrible. I mean we saw the Tottenham game they were supposed to play last night. They got postponed because of the weather down at Turf Moor against Burnley. But we looked at the lineup before it got postponed, and they were playing 3 centre backs. They were playing 3 centre backs. I think it was Dyer, it was Sanchez, and who else was it, Jackson, off the top of my head? I don't remember.
Emerson Royale, right wing back, Reguilon, left wing back, Dyer, Sanchez.
And I don't remember who the
third centre back
was. It wasn't Doherty because he was on the bench.
No, yeah.
But yeah, that centre back pair, those 3 centre backs in that 5-man back line.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's a terrible three.
It wasn't. It was. No, it wasn't the Italian. I still don't know why they're not playing. It might have been Ben Davies because they're not playing Romero, so I don't know what's going on there. He was a good defender from Serie A, but I predicted that. I remember telling the lads he was signed just because he got an award for the best defender in Serie A, not because he fitted anyone's style of play. Yeah, he's going to struggle. Like Donny van de Beek, it'll be a similar situation to Donny van de Beek, I reckon. But that leads us actually to the real game, the best game of the night for
Chelsea United
in the snowstorm and a tight game, a good game. People played good football in this game. I'm talking, of course, about Manchester City 2, West Ham 1. Some teams falter against Man City. They even when they're playing Man City at their own ground, they lose. But West Ham went to the Emirates away and just did what had to be done.
What are you talking about, mate?
I remember a Gabriel Jesus goal that was pretty upsetting to some people.
You lost 2-1, and let me just put it out this way: you're saying that you guys went there and you had a good time, but Siad Benrahma. What was he doing that game? How many chances did he have to score or to pass in?
But for me, it's almost like he was like the cap in the bottle. If he had a better night, we probably could have put 2 goals in. Yeah,
you guys would have won because there was that first chance that I think Antonio had down the right side.
Like what? 5-6 minutes in, wasn't it?
And he squared it to Benrahma, and Benrahma's just missed the ball.
Yeah, he's fallen over his own feet. He pulled a Werner. It was crazy.
Yeah, I know. Like Timo Werner. But
we'll get to that.
But seriously, like you see that, and you think to yourself, "Oh my days!" Like he did that a couple of times, and Benrahma decided to, I think it was take on Edison from a really sharp angle and decided to shoot from the left side when there was no angle for him.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, and it happened a couple other times in that game. I mean, there's a reason he got subbed off in the second half for Lanzini, with Bowen coming on as well. It just didn't really make a lot of he needed to come off that pitch. He didn't look a good player in that, and maybe it was just his form hasn't been so good the last few games, but also like maybe those are conditions he's not actually used to. Uh,
Well, yeah.
he's
Look,
beyond Brentford and West Ham. I'm not sure how much more experience he's got with proper snow days in the Premier League beyond that.
yeah.
So,
Look, it was pretty heavy snow. I mean, got to the point where it was towards the back end of the first half, and
mm,
you were seeing the roots of the balls and like the bottom of players' feet on the pitch. Like
mm.
it was getting bad. It was getting
It
heavy.
was, and
And
then at halftime, the snow shovel team came out and just cleared it.
cleared
That
it
was
all
very
off.
funny.
Yeah,
The players leave and the snow shovel men come on and they do the job. But it was like it was a good game because but I think that we probably caused our own loss there because despite the chances we had, I don't agree with the way we approached the game. So the
no,
formations,
that
we thought the
lineup.
formation was much
Oh,
more positive because Google portrayed it as I
oh
think like a 4-2-3-1.
no,
Like
yeah, yeah. Google. I've got it in front of me. 4-2-3-1. Yeah, from Google.
yeah,
And then it was what
a
a five
three
two.
five one one,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is crazy. Like Fornell's got pushed deeper.
yeah.
It's
Masuaku
like
come on as
it
yeah.
always settled as like a five at the back. Like it was, and you know what? After winning against Liverpool 3-2, like our other bogey team in the Premier League is Man City.
Mm.
And we haven't beaten them in like 5 years in the Premier League. We beat them in the cup, but not in the Premier League. And I don't know why we just didn't set up more positively, give it a better go. Because with the chances we had, we probably would have had more of them if we had gone for it. And maybe we would have lost like 3-4-0 if
Mm.
we had gone toe to toe, but or we could have won. You know,
I'm I'm very surprised at this. I'm just looking at this formation on Google. The
mm,
way that this formation set up, that 4-2-3-1, I'm thankful they didn't play that because you see this like that big V sort of in the middle of the midfield, and you know how good of a midfield team Manchester City is. I mean,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys play that 4-2-3-1, I reckon you guys would still got torn up in the
But that's
midfield.
the thing. We saw we were not lost in the midfield. We did
No,
force Man City wide out on occasion because Rice is that good at intercepting. Like he was regularly intercepting and setting off attacks with Fornals and Suchek. Like it was fine. Like
I
I thought we didn't lose the midfield battle as badly as most teams do.
I think you really missed Ogbonna though,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and in Craig Dawson's spot, especially in that first goal. I think you really missed Ogbonna
It
there.
was how hopeless we looked at corners.
Mm,
And Ogbonna is a massive part of how we attack it with a set piece, and him not being there really hurt. Honestly, like you could very much see that we missed him. Uh,
yeah, that's it. I'm also very surprised that you guys didn't play. Vasic didn't come on.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
it
it's
was the
odd.
fact that the 4-2-3-1 was very strange because it made it look like Masuaku was going to play up like
Yeah,
in the three behind when
yeah,
he was actually going to play a wing back role.
yeah. That's it. And
And
Ben
and
Johnson was
yeah,
the wing back. Yeah,
yeah, and Ben Johnson performed well. Like he had a moment or two where he looked a bit out of his depth, but overall he was up against Raheem Sterling for full 90 minutes. And
mm,
he's only 21 years old. Like he's a young fella who's only just come through properly this year. And he's been fantastic. And he was good in this game. He made it very difficult for them. And it's worth noting that most of our attacks, like we had 3 or 4 really good threats that came down Ben Johnson's side. And your man Cancelo wasn't obviously having the best defensive day as a
no, it
result.
wasn't. Look, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Oh no. It'd be bullying, yeah.
No, look, yeah, look. Quite a few of my FPL team haven't had a good week besides Jamie Vardy.
Uh,
My team's been hit with a few injuries, so
no,
we'll see
my
what goes on
my
after that.
team's real rubbish. I haven't looked at it since before the Chelsea Man U game, and I it's probably very bad. I
Mm,
picked that game all wrong, but we'll get to that. So I mean, and I'll say it, I don't believe in slogging to a 1-0 loss, which was where this game was going until like the 90th minute.
mm,
And that was what we were doing. I either we risk it and lose 3-0 or we win. Like I don't see the point in like slogging to a 1-0 loss because it's the same outcome as a 3-0, other than maybe goal difference, which if we're doing well shouldn't make the difference. So but no, yep. And that I think that game went probably better than I expected. Probably, like it could have gone a lot worse, but I don't expect wins against Man City yet. That's like like Chelsea and Manchester United haven't won against Man City in their games. Like, what are we to do?
Mate, that was a lucky goal by Jesus for us. That deflection, you can't tell me that deflection wasn't a lucky deflection.
Yeah, but you guys didn't even threaten them in that game, and Manchester United didn't threaten. The only team that's gone toe to toe with Man City properly in a non-freak game. So the Crystal Palace loss is a freak game for me in that sense. But it was Liverpool who went toe to toe with Manchester City. I maintain that they're a top title contender at this point. But they didn't have a game today. So we'll have to talk about Liverpool another time. So that leaves us with the final game of this game week, which was Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1. I was not awake for this game.
I tried to stay awake for this game, but I was staying up a bit later because I have night shift a bit later tonight, and I fell asleep. Yeah.
But I saw the lineups before I went to sleep, and I was deeply confused. Not by Chelsea's lineup, that made sense. By Manchester United's lineup. Ronaldo was not there. He was well and truly dropped to play Sancho and Rashford up front.
Yeah.
Which showed, you know what was interesting about that formation? For me, it just showed how much of the tactics came from Carrick. Because that was as counter-attacking like Ollie ball as you can get, and Carrick was the coach. Like, clearly he just went, well, I'll do just what we did with Ollie against big teams and just set up like that. True, he dropped Ronaldo, but he went for the same sort of way. He just went for the same stuff.
It's a very defensive lineup as well. I mean, you got Fred, Matic, and McTominay, three very defensive midfielders. Yeah. I mean, Eric Abayi is only playing because Harry Maguire got a red card, and Lindelof's only playing because Varane's injured. But other than that, and Tellez is playing because Luke Shaw's injured as well. But other than that, that's a very defensive lineup.
Yeah, and it reminds us of why, if you're going to sack Ollie, the first thing Rangnick needs to do when he comes in is sack Carrick and McPherson and the rest of them, because they're an incompetent backroom staff that was responsible for a lot of the issues that occurred under Ollie. They just need to go. And this game, like, sure, they got a result, but this is like, Ollie got these kind of results and was still having dreadful seasons. Like, it's not good enough. Like, 15 out of the 20 teams in this league, you play that kind of football and you won't get results. And that's, I think Carrick's proved why it was very important that they went out and got a proper interim manager. I think it was actually Harry Redknapp came out and said, I can't believe they're not going to let Carrick handle it for like the rest of the season. And I was like, mate, no way.
Look, some former players are good coaches, and some former players, they're not suited to coaching.
Patrick Vieira looks like a good coach. Thierry Henry would murder the youth players. It's just not the way to go.
Yeah. And Michael Carrick he's not that man. He's not that guy. He's not that guy, pal. He's not that guy.
But despite not being that guy, it is true that they got a goal. Honestly, it was just a Jorginho mistake. Like that. Yeah. Manchester United didn't even play particularly well in this game. Like, they had chances, but once again, no finishing. It really came off a lucky counter-attack off a Jorginho mistake.
Yeah. I mean, you just look at the yellow cards for Man United. I mean, they had 5 yellow cards. Rashford, Fernandes, McTominay, Bailly, and Ronaldo once he come off the bench.
Yeah.
That, for Ronaldo to get yellow card coming off the bench, that shows his frustration of not being put in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, their goal was, I mean, there's very little to say about the goal. Sure, I'm sure Anthony's going to be on about Sancho now. Is like
Sancho's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's only scored 2 goals this season. Okay, that was his first goal in the Premier League. And Anthony's going to go on about how Sancho's going to start firing now. He's going to get a couple of assists here and there. They're playing him on the right side, the right striker, so he's going to start scoring a bit more. No,
that was a tap in. Yeah. Really, and there's nothing impressive about it.
He had Marcus Rashford to the side of him where he could have just squared it for a sweaty goal, but he decided to go himself. And if he went himself and Mendy got I'd say 5 centimeters a bit over to the right, he would have saved it.
Yeah. it just wasn't that impressive a goal, but I'm sure, maybe that'll do wonders for his confidence. We'll just have to wait and see. What's more suspicious is the Chelsea penalty, which Carrick came out after the game and said it was not a penalty. He did not think at all. Matt?
Look, all I'm going to say is the referee that refereed this game, Mike Dean, he's been screwing Chelsea over against United for years, and this is payback. This is the start of the payback. I mean, you look 2 years ago, was it? Or was it last year? Last year, when I messaged you when we lost to Man United that time in the Cup, and Harry Maguire kicked Batshuayi in his private area and then didn't get carded for it. And towards the end of the second half, Harry Maguire scored the winning goal for United.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago, yeah.
That was a while ago. Now.
You look at like Mike Dean has been screwing Chelsea over against United for years. So this penalty is not fair enough. It probably wasn't a penalty. I mean, I watched the replay. You couldn't really see much contact from Wan-Bissaka on there, but like all the stuff that Mike Dean done to us against United, this is like a small bit of payback. So
yeah, and also
all you Man United supporters, suck the fuck up. All right.
Note, good redemption arc for Jorginho as well after causing the mistake, and plus he missed his penalty for Italy as well.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty poor outcome for him in the international stage, but here he just slotted it away.
Mate, he sent David De Gea the other way. Sent him to the right side of the goal. Yeah. Did his little hop step and just the calmest.
Jorginho made the hop step popular before Bruno was ever in the league. So
yeah,
but. No, it was. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a draw's a pretty poor result. Honestly,
yeah, we should have won. It should have been a win for Chelsea.
Should have been.
I mean, you can see the detrimental effect Timo Werner has on the squad. I mean, we played Ziyech, we played Hudson-Odoi and Werner up front. Mm-hmm. But you look at the couple games before this where Werner was still out, Lukaku was still out, and we had to play Ziyech, we had to play Hudson-Odoi, and I think I forgot to the other third attacker, Kai Havertz. Like Hakim Ziyech was playing really well in that striker position. So was Kai Havertz. They were sort of interchanging in between each other. Yeah. I mean, you can sort of see how much of a negative effect Werner has on our squad, and you can sort of see how we need to sort of improve a little bit more on our attacking prowess to score, especially our front three players. They need to be able to score more because we've proven in this league that our midfielders can score, our defenders can score. Hell, Reece James is leading our club with the most amount of goals as a right wing back. Like we need to show that our attackers can score.
Yeah, but I think Tuchel got we've talked about the fact that Manchester United really weren't in this game particularly much, but at the end of the day, Chelsea came into this game with the wrong. I think Tuchel got this one wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup. The defense, I don't mind. Like
it's up front.
It's a standard.
Decisions up front. Yeah.
The standard defense. Chalobah, Silva, Rudiger, Mendy in goals, James and Alonso wing backs. I mean, Alonso replacing Chilwell for his ACL injury. You look at Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek in the middle. That's a good middle option, seeing as Kovacic is out and Kante's out injured as well. But the front three: Hakim Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Timo Werner. I mean, you look at those three, it's not really the combination you sort of want to have. I mean,
no.
You've got Lukaku, who was on the bench, who come on, who, fair enough, he's probably first game back from being injured. Pulisic coming on as well, who's semi-recovered from an injury. I mean, he was firing a little bit, scored in the last game for Chelsea, scored on the international break for the USA. You got Ross Barkley, you got Mason Mount, who they end up subbing Mason Mount back on, and Kai Havertz as well, who's coming back from an injury. But he was about 75% before this game started. So you have options, you have players that you can sort of piece in together. But like Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner on the pitch at the same time, it's not good because Timo Werner, he's one of the more inconsistent players in the squad, and so is Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi is just up and down. There's games where he's great. There's games where he's terrible. And that comes back down to his mental state, Hudson-Odoi. I mean, the man got selected for the England under-21 squad and denied it.
Yeah, I don't like what that says about him. Yeah.
because he wanted to be selected in the first team because obviously Emil Smith Rowe has been playing well for Arsenal, played in the under-21s and then went up to the first team. Hudson-Odoi thought he was on the same level and denied the under-21s where Emil Smith Rowe accepted it.
He's not even close.
The thing with Hudson-Odoi with that is you're given a chance to play for your country. It doesn't matter if it's under-21s, under-18s, under-15s, under-16s even. You're given a chance that most people probably won't get. You play for your country. You don't deny it because you think
it's not. Yeah, that doesn't tell me great things about his psyche or what he thinks of himself as a player. Yeah. I think that gives off bad kind of signals.
And having him and Werner on the pitch at the same time. Yeah, it's a no-go for me.
I mean, Werner's. I can't believe you've said that. Werner is hella consistently dreadful. Like, he was bad in this game. I think like it would have just been better if they went with the lineup they had against Juventus.
Yeah,
rather than bring Werner because Werner is not good. Sure, he's the striker you have, but Tuchel needs to develop an attacking system that doesn't rely on Werner when Lukaku isn't in form.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, this isn't a game to bring Werner back from his injury. I mean, you played with the squad you played against Juventus, right? And then midweek, we have a game against Watford. That's when you bring Werner in. You bring Werner in against someone like Watford, someone a bit lower. You don't bring him in against Manchester United.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have what it takes against someone like Harry Maguire, who on his day can be a great defender. And with the amount of bodies Manchester United would putting back, I just don't see it. It just wasn't the game. And Tuchel, great defensive coach, but the attacking has not been there. And I mean, at the end of the day, his solution was pretty childish. It was like, we'll just spend 100 million on a great attacker from Serie A. You can't just throw money at an attacking problem and hope it goes away. He's got to coach that attack, have a style of attacking play, of attacking threat that works consistently. If he doesn't do that, I think Chelsea will drop off in the title race. We saw Manchester United drop off first. This game is a warning that Chelsea could be the ones to drop next, even though they're top right now. In these kind of games against big clubs, when the attack really needs to pull through, these will be the games that you lose and it falls apart. I mean, look at Liverpool, they're only 2 points behind now. Manchester City are only 1 point behind. So you've lost that 4-point lead. It's very tight now. It's time to sort out the attack.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying before. Who's your attacking combination? Because Hakim Ziyech hasn't really had much game time this year, and 2 of those injuries. And since those injuries, he's been probably one of the best attackers on our team.
Yeah,
he's good. Can play both feet, left foot, right foot. Knows how to get into positions. Can put some good balls into the box as well, and can shoot from outside the box. So it's a good thing that you keep him on. But Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner, that's not a good combination between them two.
No,
especially
the wrong approach.
Yeah, especially like you were saying that they had so many bodies back and they had 3 defensive midfielders on as well.
Yeah. It wasn't the right play, but we will see if Tuchel learns his lesson midweek when we see the midweek games. So that being said, we've come to the end of the time we can do to react to these games. I hope you've all enjoyed. So keep an eye out for our next content. We might be readjusting to the time we release the podcast once Anthony gets back. In the meantime, we might have another OT to throw out or some other content to throw out. So keep an eye out on the channel, and we hope you guys enjoy the games to come midweek and on the weekend. Peace.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.